getting in the habit of sitting on the floor? Why? Hello and welcome to another edition of Shine 365, where our job is to make your life a little easier. Could sitting on the floor help you? And should you get in the habit of doing it? Will it help you live longer? Today's review comes from Well and Good: Why Longevity Experts Say You Should Get in the Habit of Sitting on the Floor by Aaron Bunch. Sitting on the floor may not be that comfortable, especially when compared with the relative luxury of a chair. But the simple practice is great for your longevity, according to a study of the world's longest living populations. Blue Zone founder Dan Buettner says that people living in Okinawa and Japan keep furniture to a minimum in their homes, so they naturally do most of their sitting on the floor. And he says the health benefits are evident. In fact, the longest-lived woman in the history of the world lived in Okinawa, and I know from personal experience that they sat on the floor, he says. He spent 2 days with the 103-year-old woman and saw her get up and down from the floor 30 or 40 times. So that's like 30 or 40 squats done daily. If you don't know what a squat is, a lot of people that exercise regularly firmly believe in squats. And the thing is, if you're going from a chair to standing, that's not so far. But if you're going from the floor to standing, that's a different story. That is more like a squat. So essentially, this 103-year-old woman was doing 40 squats a day. Some researchers wouldn't be surprised to learn that a woman who is able to repeatedly stand up from a seated position on the floor has lived to be at least 102 years old. That your ability to stand up from a seated cross-legged position without using any of your limbs, known as the sitting rising test, is a good marker of your longevity. A study published in the European Journal of Preventive Cardiology suggests that those least able to complete this movement were 5 or 6 times more likely to die than those who were best able to complete the task. Now that sounds a little morbid, but I have heard that if you can rise from the floor without using your arms, then you have to be in pretty good shape. If it takes 2 arms for you to get up, that's a good indicator that maybe you're not in the best of health. It's an interesting thing to look at because we don't think about that. It is well known that aerobic fitness is strongly related to survival. But our study also shows that maintaining high levels of body flexibility, muscle strength, power to body weight ratio, and coordination are not only good for performing daily exercise activities, but they have a favorable influence on life expectancy. When you're moving from a seated position on the floor to one standing multiple times per day, this strengthens the core and it works your balance. It makes sense. You're going from the floor to standing up, both of which, working the core and improving your balance, improve and extend your overall muscular skeletal fitness. This can also help prevent you from falling down when you're older. And as we all know, falling down when you're older is one of the top causes of unintentional injury-related death. And I'm sure you've seen the commercial, "I've fallen down and I can't get up." If a person's fallen down and they can't get up, obviously they don't have the mobility, they don't have the core muscles to allow them to get up. And that's a sign that they're not very healthy. Now, are there things you can do to improve this if you're older? Yes. And of course, one of those things is exercise. And if you're doing the motion of rising from the floor all the way up to a standing position, that is exercise in itself. So essentially, this 103-year-old woman who was so used to sitting on the floor she was doing exercise every day, and much more exercise than it would take to rise from a chair, which is much higher. Many of us have been sedentary for too much time, and in likely than less ergonomic environments. Getting out of your chair and sitting cross-legged on the floor can help realign your body, center your sits bones, and engage your core stability, improving strength, natural flexibility, and overall movement. With that said, Roxburgh notes that if you're going to engage in floor sitting, it's important to pay attention to your posture. You don't want to slouch, which can increase pressure on your lower back, and that would cause pain. So you want to make sure you keep your weight centered over your hips so you reduce the pressure in your ankles and your feet. Okay, so if you're sitting cross-legged onto the floor, this can help realign your body, center yourself, engage your core stability, and improve your strength, natural flexibility, and overall movement, all from just sitting on the floor. Now, nobody is saying that you need to spend the entire day on the floor, though Butner does advocate for buying lower furniture or getting rid of a few pieces of furniture altogether, so you'll be standing up more. The key to longevity, staying flexible, fluid, maintaining a healthy body to create continual postural shifts throughout the day as you're able. You don't want to just stay in the same locked position. That's not good. We need to move. The body was made to move. Move throughout the day. If you can, a standing desk would be a good thing. Sitting on the floor once in a while, good thing. Right now, sit down on the floor if you can. I'm not saying, if you can't, if you're not healthy enough, you can't, then don't do it. But obviously, if you feel you can sit on the floor, let's sit on the floor right now. Sit on the floor and then try to get up off the floor safely without using your arms. See if you can do it. If you can't, use one arm. If you can't do that, use two. And if you can't, there are things you can do. You can work at it. You can slowly loosen your muscles. And one way of doing that is yoga or light strength exercises. You want to be able to rise from the floor. You want to have stable core muscles that help you do that. And that's going to help you live a longer, healthier life. I hope you enjoyed the show. I look forward to any comments. Please thumbs up, like, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time on Shine 365.